Batman is the best superhero ever. Since the late 30s, his character has shaped media at large for almost 90 years of existence. He himself has also been shaped by the times, from campy and cartoony in the Silver Age to gritty violence and realism of the Bronze. He's flexible and versatile as a character to fit in any era. But through these many changes, he has had one consistent. Batman doesn't kill people. He also doesn't use firearms. He saves everyone he can. But rule one, he mostly doesn't kill people. He shouldn't. It would be completely arbitrary and contradictory to his character. All he stands for would be ruined if he killed people. Yet for some reason, the mediums outside of comics tend to miss or disregard this core value somewhere. And even worse, viewers entirely misinterpret this and hold this against the quality of his character in writing. Why do audiences seem to hate Batman's no-kill rule? One of the most common arguments you might find against Batman's no-kill rule is, well, Batman's an anti-hero. It's okay for anti-heroes to kill people, right? And I mean this with zero exaggeration. This is one of the dumbest points you could possibly make. It doesn't just mischaracterize Batman, it completely misappropriates the term anti-hero in and of itself. The dictionary definition of an anti-hero might be one who lacks heroic qualities. To be considered anti-hero, they must be non-courageous, morally ambiguous, or strive for a noble purpose for a purely self-centered motive. This is not Batman. For example, an anti-hero would be something like the Punisher from Marvel. Frank Castle, after returning home from war, his family is tragically killed, leading him down a path of vengeance and violence as he dons a skull vest and arsenal of firepower to become the Punisher and seek revenge on the criminal element that took his family and caused him grief. Frank Castle's motives for becoming the Punisher are much like Batman's. The only difference is the traits of an anti-hero that Frank Castle has that Batman does not. One such being moral ambiguity. Batman has a strict moral code. He doesn't kill people. He saves everyone because he believes any and everyone deserves a chance at rehabilitation and change, no matter how many times it takes. The Punisher doesn't believe in moral gray areas or nuance. You're either innocent or you're guilty, and if you're guilty, he punishes you. Selfless ambition is another thing that separates Batman from anti-heroes is his selflessness. Bruce Wayne may be a multi-billion-dollar man, but even if he wasn't, he'd still be Batman. There are countless stories in alternate worlds where he possesses none of the obscene wealth he has and is still Batman. Bruce constantly bears the financial burden of Gotham City, not only as Batman, but as Bruce Wayne himself, building infrastructure, funding projects and community outreach help, on top of the physical burden of fighting dangerous criminals and villains every night. This is not an anti-hero. If he was an anti-hero like Deadpool or Jack Sparrow or any other, he wouldn't take on such a heavy burden without some type of incentive or compensation. He does it purely from the good of his heart. It has no other reward besides that. I feel like this argument stems from one aspect of Batman's character. He's grumpy. He's a tall, dark-dressed, grumpy dude who broods and talks all scary to villains and calls himself Vengeance. So, he has to be an anti-hero, right? Then he must kill people, right? No. As if it's impossible for a character to have nuanced motives and morals because he's a little mean. These thoughts of this character are exasperated, especially when he stands next to his peers like the Flash or Superman or Wonder Woman, those with a lot more brightly colored exteriors. People tend to see him and deem him as the standard, edgy, more morally gray counterpart to someone like Superman. And though a few aspects of his characters can play into that, I think that the line of thinking misconstrues who he is. He is a superhero, a good guy, the goodest of guys, in fact, arguably a better guy than anyone he knows. This argument is just plain lazy to me. It shows an unwillingness to look even a centimeter past the surface level of Batman's character. He is not an anti-hero. And even if he was, it doesn't inherently mean he has to go around and kill everybody. Another argument I feel commonly used to justify this character portrayal that is Batman killing. Well, he doesn't have to kill everyone, just that one guy. That one guy, of course, being the Joker. At a glance, this argument can seem valid. I mean, come on, Joker has been Batman's arch nemesis since his first issue of his first ongoing back in 1940. Over that 85 years, the Joker has committed every manner of crime and harmed Bruce Wayne and those he knows and loves in an almost endless amount of ways. Surely any good superhero, even one with a no-kill rule, would put aside that for the greater good, right? Right? The answer, no. Besides the fact that Cape comics are never-ending stories and need villains and enemies and nemesis for the heroes to thwart, killing would seriously betray the central themes and moralities of all of these characters. They haven't, and they will probably refuse to for the rest of ongoing history. A prime example of this outside of Batman would be Spider-Man. His greatest nemesis, Norman Osborn the Green Goblin, has caused Peter Parker endless pain and strife throughout his life, and Spider-Man has never killed him. Just a few examples of the things that Norman Osborn has done to Peter Parker. He faked Aunt May's death twice, burying her alive in the second instance. He sold Peter Parker's best friend's soul to the devil. He made him think that he was the clone of Ben Reilly, who was the actual clone of Peter Parker, making him question his entire existence during the Clone Saga arc of the comics. He made Flash Thompson, Peter's former high school bully who had just returned from war and had been fighting and suffering with addiction the entire time, crash into a high school intoxicated, putting him in a multiple-month-long coma. Flash didn't even know Peter's secret identity or anything like that. He just did this to mess with Peter, for no reason. For kicks and giggles, if you will. So yeah, Norman Osborn is undoubtedly evil. Evil in same comparisons to the Joker. But you'll never hear people in the comic space undoubtedly question why Spider-Man would never kill the Green Goblin. I think it all stems back to the logic of Batman's demeanor. Spider-Man, Superman, Flash, etc., are all bright, smiley, friendlier characters. So, they shouldn't kill people, right? We wouldn't want to see our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man kill someone, or a Man of Tomorrow, Superman, kill anybody. So due to his less than sunny disposition sometimes, and his lean into grittier realism occasionally, Batman just isn't afforded the same suspension of disbelief by readers and viewers, as if he isn't as much of an unrealistic fictional character as, I don't know, the guy who could run at the speed of light, or an alien, one of the multiple. Another issue is larger forms of media, particularly films, being unable to convey this integral part of the character and adaptations. All films of Batman, outside of one sole exception, in some shape or fashion, fail at representing his value for human life. He either A. kills someone, B. inadvertently causes someone's death and then tends to not feel bad for this incident whatsoever, or C. doesn't attempt to save someone in peril when he is physically able to. The problem is, the most widely consumed media for this character outside of the comic books fails to properly adapt this. This, in my opinion, is possibly the biggest problem in why I think so many of these faulty arguments exist. Not a lot of people read comics. Most people probably won't interact with superhero stories outside of movies. If these stories are failing to adapt the character as he should be. Bruce Wayne is a man with unlimited power and freedom. with riches no one could imagine. Yet all he chooses to do with this money is help. He values life so much that all he tries to do is better the people of Gotham's lives. This one trait of him valuing human life to the greatest extent is why I think he's the world's greatest superhero, and it is why it is the most important integral to his character. There are no others who value life like Batman. There are maybe others who value redemption like he does, and yeah, sure, there are others who I may think are just as cool as Batman. But unlike them, Batman has maintained this for 80 years, and it is by far the most important part to his character. And it hurts me to see people take his best character trait and deem it his worst. I hope that just maybe, I've made you reconsider or recontextualize the character in this little argument I've made. And maybe you appreciate and love him like me and a billion others do to this day.